All right, let's get started then. Very, very nice to meet you all. Thank you again for joining today. I'm really looking forward to speaking with you all. Let me just quickly introduce myself. My name is Sai. I'm from the United States, and I've been over here for a little over 5 years. And I currently work in the e-commerce industry, but I was lucky enough to be drafted as your interviewer today. Thank you. So before we get started, and I have you each introduce yourselves individually, I just want to ask one quick question. Have you guys ever heard of this online system that you're using today, the iPort Voice?
No.
No. Yeah. Okay, so it's a little different than Zoom and Google, but actually it's a system that was dedicated. It's a dedicated system that Asmark company developed in-house last June, and it's currently used to conduct online interviews like this. So today I'd like to use the system to hold a roundtable discussion with everybody. Feel free to give us your honest opinion. So very free, very casual, very organic. Don't be you don't have to be uptight about anything. Would you like to start with introducing yourself with your name, when you came here, and what you do?
Okay, sure. So my name is Manon. Very, very nice to meet you guys. I'm French. Maybe you can hear it from my accent. I'm from the north of France. I'm from Normandy. Maybe you heard of it. I've been studying Japanese at university during 5 years in Paris because I literally fall in love of Japanese language. And around 3 years ago, I moved to Japan to work in the hospitality industry in a hotel. And actually, this story is really related to coronavirus because first I worked 1 year in a hotel in Kyoto. After that, I worked in a travel agency again in Kyoto during 1 year. And after that, my husband, he got transferred to Tokyo. So now we are living in Tokyo. And it was a bit difficult for me to find another job opportunity in the travel industry. So I did something else. I'm teaching French now. I'm doing online lesson to Japanese students, any level from beginner to intermediate to expert. So I'm doing this online with Skype actually. So that kind of device can be like pretty interesting for me and my company. So I'm really curious about like ePort voice. Yeah, in my company we use mainly Skype, but we are thinking of maybe use something else in the future, but nothing has been decided yet. So yeah, I've been living in Japan for like 3 years now, and I really enjoy living here and traveling. Of course, now it's a bit difficult, but yeah, I really enjoy my life here, and I think that's it so far.
Thank you so much, Manon.
you.
I actually studied French. I may need to, talk to you after this. Thank you. All
Thank
right.
you.
Jovi, would you like to introduce yourself next? Thanks.
Okay. Okay, so my name is Jovi and I came from Bali, Indonesia. I came to Japan in July 2019 to study at the Japanese language school. So I just graduated from the Japanese language school this year and I will continue my education in Japanese university.
Ooh.
So I also do some language teaching online. I teach Indonesian language, so I also use Skype and Zoom.
Nice. My older sister, she did a project for the environmental studies in Indonesia, and she's working really hard to learn the language, and it's a really beautiful language. I wish I
Thank
had
you.
the chance to learn that one as well. All right, thanks so much, Jovi. All right, Emmanuel, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, okay. So my name is Emmanuel. I'm from Kenya. I am 22 years old, and I moved here like 3 years ago to like study here. So initially, I studied like in a Japanese language school for 1 year. Then after that, I joined like a vocational training institute for mechanical engineering.
Engineering is a very difficult field, so I wish you all the best. Now, I think the modeling field, like the world, it seems like such a unknown world to me. So I'm like super interested to hear your stories. Okay.
Yeah,
All right. So It seems like everybody's very interested in Japanese and learning Japanese. How has that journey been for you? Manon? Yeah, being over here and learning Japanese, like, is it different from being back home and learning Japanese?
Completely different. As I say, I studied Japanese at university for 5 years in Paris, so I know already all the bases, all like the different polite or unpolite situations. I also studied Keigo, but it's completely different when I came here and I had to use everything because I just realized that, especially Keigo, for example,
Yes.
even if you know how to like say it, how to build the structure, it's really hard to like remember in front of the customer how to use it and what to reply. So yeah, it's pretty difficult. Even if I had some basis, I passed GLPT N2 and I'm currently studying for N1, but it sounds like impossible, so I'm just trying. Yeah.
Definitely. What about you, Emmanuel or Jovi?
So when I was in Bali, I have many Japanese friends. So like Japanese culture is a bit new for me. So when I came here, there wasn't any culture shock for me. And then learning language is what I like. So learning Japanese language, it's not too hard for me.
Okay.
So-
What about you, Emmanuel?
For me, I'm just smart, so it isn't that difficult. Like when I came here after like 3 years ago, I didn't know any Japanese. So within 1 year, I was pretty good. Like within 1 year, I got my N3, and then I got my N2 the following exam, and then the following one I got N1. So I already have N1. I think I speak fluent enough here. So
Wow.
yeah, good for me. Yeah.
Definitely. You must have a very effective way of studying. I think
So that's
the
it.
service industry definitely helps with daily interactive Japanese learning. It's helped me at least, for sure. I was fortunate enough to have Japanese parents, so I was able to speak it, but I am very bad at reading and writing it. So that's where I had the difficulties with the N1. For sure. All right. Thank you so much for answering those questions. All right. I do want to go into a somewhat of a similar question. What is something super interesting that you found over here when you moved over here, and something that you found super difficult? If you want to go in the same order, Manon. Something very interesting, but whether it's culturally or someone you
Okay.
met or.
About something really interesting, I didn't know like anything about the Ainu culture in Hokkaido before moving here, and I had the occasion to go to Sapporo. I think it was 2 years ago, and I heard about this tribute and all the culture, all the myths about it, and I've got really interested about it. So we have decided that soon, maybe this year, maybe next year, depending on the coronavirus situation, but my husband and I would like to go a Hokkaido trip and like travel in all around Hokkaido and discover like the Ainu culture like deeper. So yeah, I'm really interested in it, but I don't know so much yet, so I would like to know more in the future.
Definitely. I learned about the Ainu culture through anime, to be
Oh,
very honest, and I
okay.
think it's so interesting how they cook food, how they chop up all sorts of parts of an animal and utilize every part. It's very non-waste, and that's something that I
Exactly.
respect.
Yeah, I think it's pretty unique. Yeah.
Definitely. No, I've never been to Hokkaido. Has anybody been to Hokkaido before? Oh, yeah. Jovi, how was it?
It was cold. But they have an amazing sushi and ramen. So
Mm. Oh, all right, Jovi. What has been something interesting or difficult in your time here?
I think the most difficult would be the garbage, how we take care of the garbage. So like in my country, you just put the garbage out of your house every day and the garbage car will come. But here they have like the special days and then we have to separate the garbage. I was a bit surprised of that. But when I started to live here, like my garbage tend to 少なくなる. So I think it's a good thing.
Who else struggled with the separation of garbage when you
I
moved
do.
here?
I do.
Me as well. It was I but and like there's a like a hippie trend of composting now in the US, but we just throw everything away like burnable garbage. And when I first got here, I lived in the very inaka, and there were so many different variations of recycling, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I have to take the bottle cap off of the bottle and the little wrapper and separate all of it. It was a dissection. There is a sense of a homogenous community here, so it's difficult to kind of get in there. But
Yeah.
I realized that once you're in, like it's very easy. Have you, Manon or Jovi, had like the same? Have you seen the same situation as well for you, or has it just been very easy for you to assimilate into the community?
Actually, for me, even if I can speak Japanese, it's kind of hard to make friends, especially because you are moving like to a new city and you
Yeah.
are a foreigner. And in my case, I'm working from home, so I don't have any colleagues, or
Very true.
it's a bit
Very
hard for
true.
me to make new friends. Fortunately, I had friends before coming to Japan that I met in France, and they are living here in Tokyo. But making new friends, I don't know, 4 or 5 since I've moved here, so it's a bit hard, I think, to make close friends. I mean,
Mhm. I see. Yeah, the COVID situation definitely does not help with expanding your community. Absolutely. Jovi, what about you?
Like it's been quite easy for me because since I'm a student, like I got a host family when I got here. So
Wow.
like every weekend we will go together, and then the host family also introduce their family, and then we also often go to church, and we met many communities. So and when I was working on part-time jobs, and people are just so kind. So we also like and then go to drink together and go barbecue together, something like that. So it's been
I,
quite easy.
I see. I see. Yeah, definitely. I think I also was I didn't really have a host family, but there was a family that had a lot of connections with foreigners that came when I lived in the Inaka, and they were so welcoming. And some of the people that I've met have just shown me endless kindness over here, and I really appreciate that. All right. Well, then let's go to our next question. Since we did mention Hokkaido and food earlier, what has been your favorite food that you've eaten here, and the most adventurous food that you've had here? For example, my favorite food over here has been tonkatsu. I just love tonkatsu. But the most adventurous piece of food that I've had was basashi. And basashi is, you know, Jovi,
It's a
basashi is
horse meat.
horse sashimi. Horse sashimi. I I'm not a fan of intestines like chicken hearts, chicken liver, chicken kidney. I don't even like those things. But um, when I was given horse sashimi, and I was peer pressured into it, and I had it. It was surprisingly okay, but it was I still it didn't feel good eating a horse because it's a cultural thing. But anyways, if you guys have any stories like that, I would love to hear. If you want to go first, Manon.
yeah, I think like the food I like the most in Japan, it's pretty like stereotyping, but I really like sashimi. I can eat every day. It's so fresh, so good quality in Japan, so I really like it. And in the opposite, my most adventurous food was like raw chicken sashimi. I've been to Kyushu a few months ago and to Kagoshima, and some of my friends, they recommended me to, oh, you should try like raw chicken sashimi. It's
Yeah.
very good. And I was like, I'm not sure if I want to try. So I tried, and it's like I just eat a little piece of it. So I just tried, but it was not a pleasure at all for me. So how to say, so ashamed and so sad when the waitress, she came and she saw all the food, like I and my husband, we almost didn't touch it, and I was a little bit embarrassed, but I was like, it's shoganai. I can't, I just can't.
Yeah, I've had it too, Manon, and
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't know it was raw chicken at first. I thought it was like lined up with all the sashimi, so
Oh.
I just ate it, and I'm like, this has a weird texture, like texture. What am I eating? They're like, oh, raw chicken. I'm like, oh my goodness, salmonella. But then, like, they all assured me, they're like, our chicken is the most fresh, so it's okay. And I'm like, okay. So I kept eating it, but continuing on from that, Emmanuel, what has been your most favorite and the most adventurous?
I eat like ramen every week. Like I think when I came to Japan, I didn't know anything about Japanese food, and the first meal I ate was like ramen.
Mhm.
The natto, I think natto is just disgusting for me.
Is it the smell or the stickiness or what is it?
I think it's the smell and the stickiness. It's just like,
Both.
and then there is the tea culture here. It's very different from my tea culture, like in Kenya, because like in grow tea, like we have like cows, we have like fresh milk and all that. So we make our own milk tea, like sweet milk tea. But here it's like people buy tea in like bottles, and it's like iced milk tea. That's something you'll never hear of in Kenya. So it's like it's very new to me. I've never actually bought milk tea. I've never drank like milk tea from the store, because like it's just enough for me. Like, yeah.
I'm a huge fan of milk tea. I need to go to Kenya. I guess I need to go there and try this amazing milk tea. I'm so curious now. What about you, Jovi? What has been your favorite and most adventurous?
Like I basically like all the Japanese food, and
Okay.
my favorite might be same like Manon, the sashimi, and I also maybe like eat it every week. So and then maybe the most adventurous, and then maybe like Emmanuel, the natto. Like people here loves natto for breakfast. So, but I just cannot eat.
Like, whoa.
so they always convince me that it tastes good, but I just cannot imagine it tastes good.
Yeah.
I agree with Jovi. I can't eat natto.
Really? I saw in the supermarket there is a natto that tastes like yakiniku.
Okay.
Does it smell?
I have no idea. I think there's another company that came out with a non-sticky natto for salads. So, they're putting a lot of innovation and thought into natto. So maybe one day you guys will be able to find one that you like. Thanks so much, guys. My last question is, how has it been using iPort Voice today? Has it been easy for you today? What's your opinion on this service today?
So I think it's pretty good. As I said, I use mainly Skype and sometimes Zoom for my my job, but it's kind of like the first time I'm using like how can I say, a multiple person conference with more than 2 people, and I didn't notice any like issues so far. I was able to hear Jovi, Emmanuel, and Yusaya as well really good. The movement of the camera was good as well, so no problem for me so far. Sounds good.
Thanks so much, Manon. What about you, Jovi?
Also think the same like Manon. Like this is my first time, but everything it's good. Like it's no problem at all. So I think it's really good.
All right. Thanks so much, Jovi. What about you, Emmanuel?
So I think I like it a lot, to be honest. Yeah, it's a good day. If it's like possible, I'd like to continue using it, like my, meetings and all that. Yeah, it's very good. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you so much for your positive feedback. I really appreciate it. And you know what? Thank you so much for your time today. This concludes our interview today. If you have any follow-up questions regarding the interview or anything involved, the organizers will contact you afterwards. But thank you so much. It was a pleasure to talk to you, Manon, Jovi, and Emmanuel. Really. Thank you. Thank you so much for today.